Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today we continue with a new series of interviews with the Golden Eagle Tom Platz. In this third section of our interviews, Tom Platz describes how he learned to not just be a bodybuilder, but how to become a bodybuilding star. In this interview, Tom explains that to him, bodybuilding is truly an art form, and he details the bodybuilders and artists that motivated him throughout his life to transform him into the Golden Eagle. Enjoy.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about how you were introduced as well through powerlifting.
Okay, I'm sorry, I stopped.
Yeah. So we
powerlifting became very important to me. Through those early college years, I would win, Michigan State championships, the juniors and the seniors, and I won a powerlifting contest, many powerlifting contests, and I get a pat on the back and go home, put my trophy on the mantle. I'm like, that's it. And then I won the Mr. Michigan in 1975. Oh my God, Joe Weider's on the phone, inviting me out to photo shoots in California. I'm like, this is Hollywood. This is what I'm looking for. Being big and strong is nice, but I want to hang with the people that are royalty in terms of actors and that kind of thing. I aspired towards, Arnold and Zane and Columbo and, Serge Nubret. And it was like they weren't just AAU bodybuilding. Oh, symmetry, likes waist size. It was like there was more than just posing and more than just muscle. And I was attracted to that. I said, that's what I have to do. I have to study with those guys, those masters. Mm-hmm. Hope you don't mind if I have my glasses on. I see better with them on sometimes.
That's fine.
My wife always says, "You look so old, though." Okay. I take them off sometimes. So powerlifting was important initially, but I'm like, so you're a world champion and people don't even know who you are. You don't even know, like nothing. But on the Olympia stage, in the magazines and Muscle and Fitness, and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's like I was compelled to study theater, study ballet, to do all the things that my mentors did, Arnold, Columbo, Zane, and understand. I was just a short, stocky kid, trying to, how do I do what Robbie does? Robbie would rock from exercise to exercise in 78. I'd watch him as a little kid going, he would glide. He doesn't even walk. It's like a Black Panther.
Yeah.
Walk like an animal. I'm like, he never said a word. Never would talk to me because I was nobody. I was a young kid. Okay. But I respected him in his space. And now, one time, years later, he came into my hospital room when I tore my bicep, and he goes, late at night, like 11 o'clock at night, how did you get in here? He said, visiting hours are over. So we'll train arms, Nick, when you get out. I'm like, I thought it was a hallucination, that maybe too many painkillers or something. But, and I always thought, how do I do? Zane would come in the gym and do one set of sit-ups for an hour. And we'd all sit around. We all had Roman chairs, about 4 or 5 Roman chairs, and we'd do it together. But I couldn't go an hour. I'd like, at 20, okay, rest, 20 more, And I'm a different fiber type. Zane trained a lot of endurance. But I would, so initially we copy. Everybody copies, okay? You copy somebody else's work a little bit, you give them credit maybe 3 times, and then it's yours. Like Cha will say something sometimes, I'm like, oh, I'll give you credit 1 time, and that's mine. That's just a joke, okay? But the words, the sentences, the structure of, the speaking, but, we all copy. So I copied Zane, I copied Arnold, and all of a sudden it happened organically. I was on stage, and I didn't know how to really be beyond a big, a small, muscular guy, but the girls taught me. Stacey Bentley, Lisa Lyons, Rachel McLeish, Corey Everson, they all taught me how to be sexy on stage and still be huge and muscular. So my goal was not just to waddle onto the posing platform, be another monster guy. My goal I wanted to be evoke emotion in the guys going, yeah, squat crazy. And then the girls going, yeah. Okay, that's what I wanted to. And so I tried to do that all my life. And as an entertainer, that was part of my internal dialogue. And one thing nobody talks about is when you go on, when you're in the theater and doing an acting scene in a film, you go back by yourself and you conjure things up and you think about something that sparks you. And then you come into the scene with that pre-thought. So I don't want to tell you what it was, but I would go on backstage, and before it came out for every exhibition every weekend, and think about this one thing, and I would just walk on stage and glow, and the audience like, they didn't know why I was glowing. Yeah, I like that, because they're like all of us. When I watched Arnold pose for those years and years, I'm the main character, or Mel Gibson, or you become the lead character, and I just didn't want to be in the audience anymore. I wanted to be the lead character. So how do you do that? So everybody showed me. They were willing to show me. Corny showed me how to move, how to pose. When I first met Ed Corney, my first exhibition and my first seminar in 1976, 75 maybe, I know, 76. And Ed Corney had these gold chains on. It was the 70s. And
Nightclub owner.
John Travolta's movie just came out. What was it called? Not Grease, but the other one. Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever. That's right.
He comes out to the pool with girls on each arm, and he's like these chains and an open collar. I'm like, Ed. He goes, Tom, welcome to the club, so to speak. He didn't use the word club. He just said, it's good to, he just welcomed me to the business, because he knew I was sort of toying with the idea of getting into it. And so he gave me advice. It was like, Tom, now that you're a pro, you always travel first class and stay in a suite. Because if you feel like a star, you go on stage and be the star. So I'm like, yes, sir, I understand. But it's like, this kind of training to me, they groom me how to be not just a muscle guy. How do you be a muscle guy and be like Dave Draper or Arnold on the bodybuilding stage? So acting was always very important to me. I mean, it's showmanship, being the athlete, the actor, the diplomat, traveling from country to country, talking about what we all love, and the businessman. You're a brand. Tom Platz is a brand.
Yeah.
And that's when it got to the point where I needed somebody to direct the brand. And I've had managers and agents galore over the years. Got out of the business for years and played golf for 10 years and just hell with it. Came back because you always come back to your first love. Oh yeah, that's good. That's the reason I live. And so I sort of copied. I worked with Vince McMahon, WWE, for a while. Vince had the ideas. Linda, his wife, would execute the ideas with all the various departments. I'm like, that's a good system. Because I know Vince can trust Linda, and they're together in this. So Ferrigno was my neighbor for many, many years. And Carla, his wife, was the manager, and Lou was the actor. And they would even Carla would say, Tom, why don't you just have your wife, do all the negotiations? And so finally with Cha, I'm like, it's time, because most of the people contact, it's not real. It's like people, hey, just want to say hi. And a lot of the stuff is like, it's not real. In the old days, I'm promoting, these guys would call me, I'm promoting the Mr. Connecticut or the Mr. whatever, Illinois. I went to as a guest poser, wonderful. But they were all fans. And now there's a lot of, it's not like the old days. It's a little bit different. So I really felt that it would be the best if Cha would talk to people. She's tough. I want her to be tough for a reason. I just, you gotta, she'll, if you're not the right guy or the right, but then again, occasionally we'll do a seminar and she'll go, look, this girl in the middle of way out there in England doesn't have a lot of money. Let's do it anyhow. Okay, let's do it. Let's go in. Let's do something that it's not about the money. That's God, man, and then people go, they're like, they're receiving those moments. And I think when I said many times in different tapes, life isn't about, breathing. It's about the moments to take your breath away.
Yeah.
Those moments to take your breath away. When I first saw Robbie Robinson in 1977, and I walked in Gold's Gym, and he's in that little posing mirror, I'm like, he's cut up, tanked up. Holy smokes! I'm here, God. Thank you. I'm like, Gold's Gym, it's heaven on earth. Thank God.
Brilliant.
And over the years, it was like after Arnold retired, and he was like, "Hey, Tom, I'm gonna direct all these exhibitions and seminars to you because you're the guy." I'm like, okay, thanks, man. Thanks. He's going into acting, and man, I'll tell you, it was like, I got really like, what am I gonna do with all this money? I'm like, Dad, it takes it. So finally, what I realized over the years is you You can make a lot of money. You can in any field, and it was nice to make money. And it easy to get caught up in that. But money comes and goes. Money comes and goes. The way you affect people lasts forever, forever. If I affect you affect your son. It's like massive distribution, like the internet, you know. So I realized that's my place. My place is not to have the $200,000, $300,000 car outside all the time next to Arnold's and Ferrigno's house. I mean, I did it. Sort of like, you know, and I had different wives over the years. I would create Beverly Hills wives. I would show them, you know, Louis Vuitton and how to dress, and, you know, lunch with the stars. I mean, it was, but after a while, I'm like, there's got to be something more than this. There has to be something more than this, because I'm not really happy. I was making the most money I ever made in my life, and I was not the most happiest as I am now. Okay. So then, I got it, God. I got it. Okay. He's like, if you really listen, you know what to do. You get the answers. And I always tell young people I work with, look, turn off your cell phone. Turn it off. You know, look, you know, be quiet.
Yeah.
Can you do it quiet? Be quiet for 10 minutes? That's hard. How about an hour till you're in the dark, just like meditating, and the answers come. The answers will come. Like, you know exactly what to do. And a lot of young people, I'm like, what drives you? What drives you? And they're like,
yeah. They don't know.
You know, you got to have something that makes you get up in the morning and go, yes, I'm alive. Life is great. Let's do what we plan to do, and make sure everybody around me's got to feel it too. And you got to. Now it's more like assisting them to get there. But you know, I'm an emotional artist, artsy kind of a guy. Even though I have taught exercise physiology, you know, in my artistic way, and I enjoyed that very much. The details, the intricate nature of metabolism and Krebs cycle, and the ATPC glycolytic pathway. I mean, I can do that too, okay, and make it exciting. But I'm like, I'm less of a scientist and more of an artist. I'm into, you know, like, and at some point you remember, like when you're training, you know, the weight's getting hard. It's a certain time you go, creativity becomes real apparent. Like when you're squatting for high reps with a big weight, there's no pain, really. It's like, oh, I love being in this place, this room. It's like scuba diving. I can't be down here forever, but I'm going to stay here and cherish the moments when I'm in this magical place, you know. And I often think about, you know, I make analogies, and so I can teach it. You know, how do I feel what I feel, and I'll be able to teach it, to give it to somebody else. And I mean, it may sound, you know, it's wonderful. I mean, it may sound feminine when I say things like that, but
not at all.
I learned a lot from the girls. The girls taught me how to move, how to pose, and how to open up. I mean, it wasn't Arnold that said open up. It was like Stacey Bentley. I remember Stacey Bentley from 1978. She was one of the early female bodybuilders. She showed me how to really do what they do, and sort of, you know, little, like, never show your legs too much. Just take it like a girl. A girl never shows too much skin. Quick, you know, it's like, I can use that, you know. And, you know, so I've liked the science of it. I like the art of it more. The art is more closer to my heart. And it is an art. This used to be, we used to say it's a science, a sport, a science, and an art. And I think we need less science at this point, okay? We have a lot of, at the Olympia stage, a lot of science experiments on stage.
Oh, yeah.
There's no love, there's no passion. My big,
Yeah.
You know, and all due respect, you know, to Big Ramy, okay, he did something. I'm waiting for the next bodybuilder to do something that nobody's ever done. You know, pose, control, and motivate an audience, be a great speaker. You know, that's what Arnold did, and I emulated Arnold. Like, okay, I'll do what he does, and you know, I can get off on a tangent now, easy. I mean, Arnold had blonde girlfriend when I was training, and I had a blonde girlfriend. He drank coffee, I drank coffee. You know, this is how he ate hash browns, I ate hash browns. And pretty soon I go, I can't do what Arnold does all the time. He's a great mentor figure, a great teacher, but I have to go my own way. So I was more like, here was Draper, my major influence, Dave Draper and Arnold. But Draper went into he's an artist. He didn't like being Mr. Universe or a famous actor or working with Sharon Tate and doing promo on the road in the 60s. He was embarrassed to be Mr. Olympia or Mr. America. Dave Draper was embarrassed to be Mr. Olympia. I'm like, that's not me. Arnold was like, I'm the god. I own the world. This is America. He even said to me, this is America. We can do anything you want to do here. I'm like, really? I guess that's the case. So I like the influence of both people in my life. Zane was influential and corny, but I think there's two major players. Draper and Arnold were major mentor figures in my life. And I liked some of the things they did. I did not like some of the things they did, but I learned. And that's the business. You got to learn. You just can't do it. And studying with the masters, nobody does that kind of stuff. Except if you're an artist, you study with, you go to wherever, Paris, or, to really get into some of their gritty art stuff people do, or New York City. And if I was into finance, I go to New York to Wall Street, and do that number, stock markets. But whatever it is you do, you got to love what you do and do what you love. It's like, yeah, most people don't do that. Most people just do, okay, I got by. Or I made a lot of money and okay, fine. But how many people go, man, life is great. Let's get up in the morning. Let's sleep a little bit more. But I'm tired, but I want to go. I looked for that. And when I went to California, that's the way it was, So I was even like, rather than training at 9 p.m. or a.m. with all the guys, I'm going to get in there at 7. I'm going to be all done by the time they get there. I can do abs with Zane and learn and pick up more. I was an early bird. I just, sleep is important, but sometimes you can't sleep. You don't need to sleep because the life overrides that. Eat, like being in love with your first girlfriend. You don't need to eat. You don't need to sleep. Life is one. That's I look for that every day. And not with girls. Okay, don't get me wrong, but with why we're here, who we are, what's our essence of being here? Why do you exist? To just to get by or to survive. And so I want to, how do they say it? A lot of young people use swear words nowadays. And in my generation, we didn't, use swear words, but I think I've heard a lot of young people criticize me. And they said, he would just want to go in the gym and fuck things up, like, that's true. Where I think, Dorian was more of a controlled artist. Like, I was like, man, I don't care what, I'm going to kill this weight room. I'm going to do everything I should be doing and do more, and that abundance and that belief in that the future is now and now is good and life is wonderful. And it was like being directed. Imagine having that kind of motivation as a child. It's like, or that kind of energy. It's like, I still don't really understand it. Okay. But once you find those things you love to do and do what you love, it's like, now I'm going to start living, and I see this in certain people, and I trained with them and I studied with them, was on the beach with them. And for most of my younger career, I'm like, okay. And luck was when preparation met opportunity. And I wasn't the winner. And the winner got upset and who's next? Hi, it was just timing. In my first Olympia, I was like, in 1979, my first Olympia, I'm like, oh my God, I'm standing next to the guy's posters on my bedroom wall when I was a kid. I'm like, do I really belong here? Can I accept this kind of, I couldn't accept being in the same category. But 3 years later, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm here to do business. Let me show you how it goes according to me. Not that I ever got cocky or egotistical or I believed in being very humble, but I was very humbly, I wanted to say, I don't care about the judges judging me as Mr. Olympia. It's nice, and they're all my friends, and I guest pose for every one of them at least twice a year. Okay, but I wanted to humbly to do what I do in the gym, and go on stage and humbly show people in the audience how it goes according to me as an artist. Okay, and so it wasn't about winning Mr. Olympias. Granted, I spent most of my life in the younger years trying to win a Mr. Olympia, but now it's not about the awards anymore. As I was saying, it never was about the awards towards the end of my career. It was more about, belting the song out like Amy does on stage with bodybuilding. Okay. Yeah. So I watch every night before I go to bed. I watch some of these artists. I listen. I'm like, yeah, Yes, yes, yes. Let's go to bed now. Okay, that's what I aspire towards. Whatever I do, whether it be, doing your income tax, and it's hard. Okay, but intricate numbers and detail is sort of something I shun away from. But sometimes the things you're not good at, you should do. So when I instruct people, I go, all the things you don't like to do are the very things you should do. But I've been very fortunate. I've been very gifted with this attitude. I think attitude is everything. Attitude monitors talent. Attitude overrides talent. Forget about genetics. You have the right attitude, you can remodel your body with the right mental attitude. Genetics is nothing. Maybe your hair color, you can change that too if you want to, but you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Genetics limits you. I mean, I'm not going to be a victim to my genetics. My genetics were going to be a victim to me. Here's how it goes, genetics. You got me? I understand this. I'm like, so that was my life. And I'm like, I don't care if I'm not 6'2". I'm going to do something different my way. And, maybe it's just the way I did it. I'll stop. Okay. You got me going now. I get going.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, I'm really absorbing your intention, your energy here, as you said, your attitude, your drive, your direction. I'm learning a lot about the way you thought, the circumstances that occurred in front of the opportunities that you took. And yeah, I mean, all of these things influenced you.
I wasn't the guy that Weeder invited out. I'm going to make you a champion. I'm going to buy you a Volkswagen and give you an apartment. I wasn't that guy.
Exactly.
I was the chosen one. I was never the chosen one. I was the one going, let me show you how. Okay, So I think they bodybuilding put up with me for all those years, and still does. And I'm friends with all the judges and all the, all of the NPC, all the organizations. They're my good buddies. And, whether they voted for me or for not, I don't care. It's like all the judges who were not voting for the Mr. Olympia wanted me to guest post. Like, say, Tom, wear the red trunks, ride post to Ride Like the Wind and Twist and Shout for the Beatles, and we'll pay you whatever money you want. We don't care. Like, this is going on for 15 years. I'm like, holy shit. So now I'm like buying, Corvettes, and I was into collecting Corvettes and Porsches and stuff, and I'm like, wow, and I got to tell you though, like any other young pro athlete, you think it's going to last forever. You get older, and you don't make that, $1 million a year anymore. Wow, I thought it was going to last, So then I didn't invest like I should have. I should have said, okay, calm down. Put the money here, put the money there. But I was like, man, I wanted to live life and just do it, everything I could, and and just live with passion and joy and love. And I mentioned this to some guys that I was raised with and went to school with, and I said, man, I admire you. You have a 401k, investments, 5 kids, a nice house, a vacation house, and you're retired. And they look at me and say, Tom, yeah, I appreciate you saying that, but you were there. You're on the edge, man. We all love to do that. We all lived through you. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Thanks. So you do what you do. You do what you believe is right, but you have to have a strong belief system. And I really do.
Yeah, sorry. I think you summarized it right there. I mean, your life, it's just passion. It's fantastic. You just did what that song said, ride like the wind.
My Porsche. In 1988, when I bought the Porsche, I had Ride Like the Wind on my license plate, California license.
There you go.
It's like, I keep thinking, I'm telling you these stories, and it's like I lived the life. I can tell you the stories, and things are great now too. I'm doing some cool things now, but those are the formation years. It allowed me to get to what we call, hopefully, wisdom. I like to think I have wisdom now. I can instruct others, and I do. I talk to 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds and 20-year-olds and go, okay, now look, here's let me share something. And like, I love mentoring other people. I really do. And they catch the wind of the passion. Like, they realize anything's possible. What do you want to do? You want to own your own retail business? You want to be president? Okay, let's go. And I really believe that whatever you really want to do in life, you can do it. You can. There's a way to get it done. Like President Trump, You know, the most unlikely president in the world became president. And we can probably get into politics if you want to, but I'm like, wow, every reason was against him not to be president, and he made it. He pulled it off. I'm like, wow, that's sort of feeding me. Like, so when I met him, I'm like, this guy, I love being around this guy. I'm like, phew. He exudes this attitude. I'm like, oh. And Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, I'd worked with him for 3 years. And then Arnold, of course. Arnold was another guy from the $1 billion club, you know, and I hung for a year and smoked $100 cigars. And I'm not a millionaire. I'm hanging out with millionaires and billionaires. And I'm like, I'm not making that kind of money every single year, you know, so which baffled me a little bit in my 50s. I'm like, oh, where do I go? I know bodybuilding, the gym. That's my home. Go back to church. Kneel and genuflect in front of the squat rack and go, life is good, you know?
So I do hope you have enjoyed this third video interview with Tom Platz and how he transitioned from powerlifting to bodybuilding and began learning by copying other bodybuilders, and not just Arnold or Robbie or Frank Zane, but female bodybuilders too, as well as artists and singers, to learn how to wow an audience, which I hate to say is truly lacking in today's scene. As Tom puts it, learning the trade of bodybuilding involves learning how to become a star, which takes showmanship, being a diplomat, an actor, businessman, and developing yourself as a brand. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and leave your comments, and click the bell button so you are notified of the next video in this series. Anyway, that's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. The Golden Eagle collection is now available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Select from Upper Body Muscle Mass and Power or Tom's Classic Leg Training Manual, also known as the Bible of Leg Training, all available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Iron Man Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much, much more, and select your poster now. Online training is now available, including my new program, Novice to Classic, a program geared towards beginners and novices looking at developing a classic physique, as well as Classic Cut, geared at those who wish to lose weight and gain muscle fast. Details available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. As a natural bodybuilder, it is imperative to know your own testosterone levels, as they are a reflection of the anabolic environment created by your diet and training. I would highly recommend using the male hormone test kit from Let's Get Checked, and make sure you use my code GOLDEN30 for a 30% discount. Again, the advantage of checking yourself regularly is that you will know how well your body is anabolically primed to put on the much desired muscle you are working for. Get your gym wear and Golden Era apparel at the new Golden Era Tees shop, featuring designs from the Silver Era and Golden Era legends, available as tanks, shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies in all sizes and colors. To support your favorite YouTube channel, please visit teespring.com/store/Golden Era Bookworm for merchandise including t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, phone cases, and much, much more. Once again at teespring.com/store/Golden Era Bookworm. Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding.
I don't think that Bill Phillips looked at it as, I want to compete against them. I want to destroy them.
If they pass legislation basically making any type of food supplement a prescription item, that would be the end, the death of the entire food supplement industry.
In the 1960s, the sports supplement industry was barely emerging.
I think the reason why Joe Weider was so successful was he had Arnold on his side.
He wasn't selling supplements. He was in the dream business.
Joe Weider was a marketing genius.
People would say the promotions or the endorsements back then were cheesy. To me, it wasn't. I loved it.
Fitness was taking off. You know, fitness became cool. You had a lot of readers that wanted to be like the stars that they idolized.
Bill's strength is his marketing savvy. He's a marketing genius.
Got it. It's only vitamin.
The right of American citizens to have free access to dietary supplements of their choice.
Consult your physician. You might as well consult the next guy you meet on the street. They don't know a damn thing about vitamins and nutrition.
The dietary supplement industry became the #2 most regulated industry. Nuclear, dietary supplements, pharmaceutical. We're more regulated than drugs.
They come in and you need to allow the FDA. They have jurisdiction.
The enforcement is kind of the questionable side of it, and how do they really get a handle on this monster?
A lot of people tell me that the dietary supplement industry is completely unregulated. It's the wild, wild west out there. It's a free-for-all. That could not be further from the truth.
A dietary supplement is not allowed to have a side effect. I always say that pharmaceutical has to have a minimum of 100 side effects in order for it to be a drug.
And now, it's a $40 billion industry and growing.
That's the really interesting thing, is the cast of characters from the 80s, when it was kind of iffy, to now when it's a lot more legitimate.
They made it sound cutting edge, revolutionary, and different, and I want that. That's cool.
We are in this industry to improve our health. It's not just a vanity project here. We're working on our lifeline. We eat a certain way to improve our health. We train a certain way to improve our health. Supplements are just that. They supplement your work, your graft, your nutrition.
They demonize dietary supplements, but they say all you need is real food. Well, what's a real food?
They pump you up and get you hard, stronger, faster, bigger.
Doc, I want to take this weight gain. I want to take this pre-workout. No way. That stuff, we don't know what's in that. It could be, no way. I'm not going to give you, it's going to kill the industry, bottom line.
So I must have drank so much protein powder from age 15 to 18 that my head was going to explode.
I believed in metrics so much that I would probably punch somebody in the face if they tried to take it away from me.